There's many reasons why one would want to go to Alaska. For me, it's the beauty of the terrain and most of all, the wildlife-rich environment.
So this is Scott's and I's very first hunting adventure in Alaska, and not only Alaska, but Kodiak Island. And it's gonna be a really great adventure.
As a Utah girl, I'm very used to seeing mountains. So going to Alaska was no surprise. But the thing about Alaska is that it's a little bit more wilderness. It feels like you're kind of in the middle of nowhere, especially on Kodiak Island. You're literally on an island with not much civilization.
Why did I choose Sitka Blacktail? Well, honestly, it gave me an excuse to go to Alaska, which you should never pass up that opportunity. The blacktail also remind me a lot of the whitetail back home, but I get to hunt them using one of my most favorite methods of hunting, and that's a spot stalk.
This is beautiful country. Oh, man, this is exciting.
Well, who's excited to be on Kodiak Island?
Just a little bit.
We've got black-tailed deer crawling the beaches. We've seen every creature under the sun on the way in. We're out for bears, guys, and just be safe. Okay? All right.
Hunting Kodiak Island for the first time was overwhelming, to say the least. The steep mountains going from sea level up to thousands of feet in such a short distance is deceiving. But when your plan comes together, it's all worth it.
Back down. It's a little bit thicker than we thought. Thought it was gonna be. So I just pushed us back a little bit, but it's all right.
Tough going.
It is, yeah.
That brush we just went through? Some big bears like that. Yeah. A rope hand plane going by. Sit down and just let's peel this all this brush right here apart.
Okay.
Just trying to figure out how we're gonna get up the side of this mountain. All this stuff's so thick. Just trying to find the path of least resistance so we can get up there and do a little bit of scouting.
What was my anticipation for the first hunt? Well, I can tell you what I didn't anticipate. I didn't anticipate hiking up a fresh bear trail traveled just a few hours before we got on the island.
Pellets. Buck feces is packed together.
I also didn't foresee the brush being as thick as it is on these islands.
Of anything around. No blacktail, not a bear.
Not a doe.
And you'd think they'd be moving on the cusp of this huge storm coming through. It's supposed to be blowing, what, 50 here tomorrow? A couple inches of rain, snow in the high country. So a big weather event. I figured they'd be on their feet and moving around.
Tonight, north wind 20 sees 6. Tuesday, north 30 sees 8. So yeah, definitely it's coming down.
Actually started blowing so much, we're in a hurricane hole, and it blew us back into this cove here, so we had to pick up at about 3 o'clock last night, move forwards and reset the anchor.
I didn't get much sleep last night. Did you guys?
You didn't?
No, like every time the boat like hit something or like the anchor did, I like woke up every time and like couldn't sleep. And then at one point I was just like, I'm just gonna stay awake because I can't fall asleep.
If I wouldn't have moved, we would have been dry this morning with the amount of tide that was going out. We were at about 11 feet of water, and there was going to be 15 feet of water moving out.
So you would have been high and dry.
It would have been high and dry.
Wow.
There are places in this world that rarely ever see people. Remote places. Places that take effort to get to. Places where life shifts into a different gear. Where memories are made and where stories are written. I'm Scott Sullivan. I've spent most of my life searching out these places, writing the story of my life and chronicling my journey. This past year, my good friend Cheyenne Peterson and I built 2 of the baddest overland vehicles on the planet, solely for the purpose of searching out these hard-to-find places. We wanted to have the gear to get to the places that most people don't go, the gear to get us to these special places where life's experiences are magnified, where stories are written. Join us as we cross the country and the world in these rigs, experiencing life, hunting, fishing, overlanding, and creating our own story, telling our tale. Join us for the Overland Chronicles.
We had some time to kill, so we decided to go set some crab pots with the transporter, Derek Blake and his lovely wife, Ruby. This has always been interesting to me. I never thought it would be reality. I can't wait to see how all this works.
That is awesome. This is so cool.
We have about 600 feet of line on here.
And how deep are we?
Just a little over 500. They are tanner crab.
Tanner crab?
And so on the market, what you might recognize it as would be snow crab.
Okay.
You want to coil some line, or do you want to?
Heck yeah.
Derek tasked me with coiling the line to avoid tangles while he's winching in the pot. So my main focus was on that. Unfortunately, our first set was dry, no crabs.
No dice.
Hey.
That means we just have to set the pot and do it again, right?
Yeah, we're going to reset it regardless because it's fun.
That's right.
I have always been an outdoor person, and just as I've gotten older, I realized that I really like to be in places that are more off the grid and unique, and places that people have not experienced before. So going to Alaska was one of those things that I was like, wow, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Definitely a little warmer than you think.
It's spicy.
She's still at the go. 2 of them there.
2 does in the skyline.
She's looking back so left.
Keep walking. You're out of sight now. Our first deer. Okay, let's roll.
It's a good sized bear print. You see his claw marks in that one. 350 feet. It looks a lot further down than 350 feet. We're making our way to this ridge here in between, right here in this valley. We're gonna try to work up over this mountain. Work kind of parallel to the valley. See what we can spot for the rest of the afternoon.
The weather was pretty chilly. I mean, it is Alaska. Freezing temperatures and precipitation allowed for a good couple inches of snowfall, quietening everything down, which puts the stalk in our favor. And man, did the hunt get exciting after that.
There's a doe right here. See this ridge that you can see? There's another one right here. 109 yards. We saw a few deer coming up the mountain here. We're gonna set it up, see if we can't get Bullwink on a walkout.
There's just something about snow on mountain peaks that bring out the raw beauty of Mother Nature. Hiking these islands is a great adventure and an even better workout, but I was ready to see some action. Seeing these massive brown bear was so majestic, but that wasn't the action I was looking for. That afternoon was a bust, but I still have hope something will happen in the few days I have left.
Now, I kind of figured we would be crabbing in Alaska because I feel like that's something that Alaska is known for, but I didn't know to what extent.
Like this might be deadliest catch, the size of the swell, the size of the boat.
It's heavy. Oh, we got some, maybe.
It's just crazy the amount of time and effort it takes for them to actually get the whole deal set up and wait and be patient for these crabs to get in the trap.
All right, yeah, let's do this.
We want crabs.
I know, I can tell them.
I keep the weight over here.
A little more. How many feet is this? 500? We're 460 down, 600 feet of line. No wonder! There's 100 crab in here. Oh yeah. It's easy. We'll pick out some couple of these right there. Oh, mamma mia. That's gonna taste good. All the little ones, gotta go back. Okay. What do you think, Cheyenne?
It's pretty freaking gnarly.
Bye.
That's the other one.
I'm getting one of the little ones right now.
Day 3.
This was an exceptional haul. We had more than we knew what to do with at first.
I knew that we would be successful pulling out the crabs because Derek has been doing this for such a long time. He did tell us that there was a 50-50 chance, but with his experience, I had no doubts.
By the time we got done releasing the small ones, we had just enough to feed the crew. Have a few days left. No luck yet, but the only thing to do is to keep pushing. Hunting Kodiak Island is an incredible experience in itself, especially when your only transportation is by boat. It gives you a whole new perspective and respect for the wildlife that survives in this climate. We saw a good bit of movement on the ride out, boosting my confidence for the day's hunt.
Well, just got dropped off.
Yes, we did. I'm hoping that we get lucky early, but I can't wait to see the top of that mountain and be able to see this really beautiful view of Alaska. It's pretty cool.
I am so confused about the amount of bucks on this island because I thought there would be an abundant amount, and so the fact that we're not having a lot of does or activity at all is quite surprising. Now, we've seen probably about 5 Kodiak grizzly bears so far, so I'm wondering if the activity of the bears is what's making the deer kind of standoffish.
You can see that a bear's been digging right here. He's getting the roots here, eating like the bulb off the root or whatever he's getting down in there. He dug right there. So, gotta keep your head on the swivel here. These big bears are all around.
It's never a good thing to run into bears in the wilderness, especially after harvesting a deer. Despite the fact that we are not seeing any deer yet, this country is beautiful and it's just amazing to be here. So we're gonna sit here and glass and see if we see any activity.
2 does, and they're about 222 yards away. I'll be here maybe an hour or 2, picking it apart.
The hunt is coming to an end, but a lot can happen in 3 days. This only means one thing. It's time to turn up the pressure.
That peak on the left-hand side of that peak, I think that's a deer. Seen 11 does, 1 spike. It's been steady raining all morning.
The buck standing right here just came up out of this thicket right here.
My gut feeling was right. We spotted a good buck in the thicket and he was in range. By the time I got set up to take the shot, he was 375 yards, straight uphill.
He's walking now. He's probably 300. Come on. Did you smoke him?
done too much research on the sitka blacktail deer, but man, he's a trophy in my eyes. You see what he looks like. I'm excited. Oh my God, this is incredible. I've never thought I'd be in Alaska hunting blacktail deer. He's huge. His body is. Well, it's a good first sitka blacktail buck. That's awesome. He's starting to stink. Wow. Look at the head on that thing. It's just a box head. He's so big. He's the double throat patch. Look at that. That's just been pretty. It's a vivid line. Look at his hooves. They're all busted up from climbing on these rocks and climbing up these mountains so sharp. That's awesome. What an animal. That's freaking incredible.
There goes Derek. We'll see him back here around 7 p.m.
Can't wait.
Let's take the hill.
We're not having much luck, so I think that we're going to push a little bit harder and go a little bit farther into the island and see if we can see any activity. But the thing is, there's a lot of bears and we have seen plenty. And if we're going farther into the island, that increases our chances of seeing even more. And we're trying to avoid running into any large Kodiak grizzly bears.
It's a doe. It's getting ready to come out right there on the top there. Hiding right there. Wow.
Just saw a doe come out of these bushes right here and ran up on the left. Go up that ledge, skyline, and then went over on the other side of the hill there.
We're gonna get up there and we can see all of that. Where else will you be able to look at something like this?
Exactly. This has
And all the weather we've had with the rain, this is the first day we've actually really seen the sun and blue sky. We're on day 8. Let's just stay on this bear trail. We're gonna cruise through this little spruce thicket, come to an opening. We'll sit down there, peel some layers, and then start glassing. Got a big bug on the spotter. Check this out.
We've seen so many doe that I thought they're like non-existent here. It looks like this thing's huge, so let's see. We're gonna go get him.
1,249 yards, and we gotta cover some country. He's about 800 yards now. We're gonna try to get around 400 yards, keep the high ground, wait for him to get out of his bed. We got 2 bucks over here fighting. It's unbelievable. Get 2 bucks down if we play our cards right.
There he is. He's out in the open. Broadside.
Smoked him.
Go, go, go. Put it right
Slow pull.
on him. Slow pull.
Yep.
Done. Got him. Hey, we just killed 2 black-tailed deer.
Thank God.
With the sniper rifle on the hide. A giant and a damn good one. Oh, unbelievable.
Well, we got 2 bucks. I harvested my very first buck on Kodiak Island. I mean, this is a lifetime experience, and I mean, who gets to say that they shot a sitka buck on Kodiak Island? I know this is something that people work for in a lifetime, and so I'm super grateful, and I am actually kind of addicted to Alaska now.
We can't mess around because we had a brown bear and we saw him coming in, wind just changed. It was coming this way,
and now it's going that way. And the second that blood was on the ground, he smelled our 2 deer. Here he comes. Dead centered him right through the lungs. How cool is that? Your first blacktail deer.
My first blacktail deer.
The bush, let's go get mine. That is a nice buck. Great representation. That's awesome. We got to get him right down here because that bear was right there, 150 yards away. Working on the neck meat, and what do we have off to the distance?
There is a bear right over there.
And we have a bear right over there. This is Bear Valley. 2 blacktails down.
Yeah. Only halfway done with his deer here, and then we still have mine to do. So we have a little bit of time to get this done.
Got 1 deer fully processed in the pack, completely deboned. And there, he's over there. He's trying to get our wind. We had to drag the other deer about 200 yards away. We got about 2 miles until we get to the beach for our transporter to pick us up. Deboned 2 blacktail deer with 2 bears on either side of it. We'll head for the beach. We don't need to deal with a Kodiak right now.
We ended up leaving the guts in one place so that the bear would go towards the guts and not us. And we hiked out of there as quickly as possible because we knew we were in a very bad situation, especially with bear. They are not graceful animals. They're very, very scary.
I can't thank Derek and his wife Ruby enough for having us on their boat, the Enchantress, and being incredible hosts. World-class transport service from these two. There's no doubt in my mind that I'll be back to experience some more Kodiak adventures.